Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started. Today, we're doing a deep dive into Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation. It's a really significant work, arguing that, well, we've basically rewired childhood in the last decade or so.
Right, and with some pretty devastating effects on the mental health of Gen Z, that's kids born after 1995.
So our plan today is to kind of walk through Haidt's argument chronologically, look at how he builds the case, the evidence he uses.
Yeah, tracing those twin forces he talks about, the changes in parenting, and, of course, the smartphone taking over.
He kicks things off with this really powerful metaphor, doesn't he? The great rewiring of childhood.
He does, and it sounds maybe a bit dramatic.
Yeah.
But the point is serious. He says it's like we've accidentally raised a generation on, well, Mars.
Mars, meaning?
Meaning in conditions totally alien to what humans evolved for.
Yeah.
Socially, environmentally. It's all different because of tech and this big shift in parenting.
Ah, okay. So it's this, like, dual problem. Parents got hyper-focused on 60 in the real world.
Right, the safetyism idea. Locking kids down physically.
But then at the same time, gave them total freedom in the virtual world, like unsupervised, unlimited access.
Exactly. And that mismatch, that vulnerability, was already there when the tech really hit its stride.
And the timing he points to is really specific, around 2010 to 2012.
Yeah, that's when you get the perfect storm, basically. Widespread broadband, the iPhone is becoming ubiquitous, and importantly, those social media feedback loops kick in.
The like button, the retweet.
Things designed to engage you. And Gen Z, they were the first ones to go through adolescence with all of that fully in place. The guinea pigs, essentially.
So the book starts not with the why, but with the what, the impact.
Right. It starts with the suffering. He shows this graph. It really does look like a hockey stick. Just this sudden, sharp upward turn in mental illness rates.
Starting right around 2012.
Pretty much bang on 2012. Before that, adolescent mental health looked, fairly stable, maybe even getting a bit better.
And then suddenly, what was the number? Depression rates jumped massively.
Yeah, major depressive episodes in adolescence went up by about 150%. 2.5 times more prevalent. It wasn't slow, it was abrupt.
Wow. And the other really striking thing is that it wasn't just the U.S.
No, that's key. It happened pretty much simultaneously across the Anglosphere, U.S., U.K., Canada, Australia, and even the Nordic countries, too.
Which suggests it's not just about, say, U.S. politics or specific school policies.
Exactly. When you see that kind of synchronized plunge across different cultures, different healthcare systems, it points towards something bigger, something shared.
Which Haidt argues is the phone-based childhood.
That's his central argument.
Yeah.
But, okay, the immediate pushback is maybe we just got better at diagnosing things, or kids felt more comfortable talking about it.
Right, the self-report issue. How does he counter that?
Well, first he notes the surge is mainly in internalizing problems, anxiety, depression, stuff you feel inside rather than externalizing, like acting out.
Okay.
But more crucially, he brings in hard data, stuff that isn't about self-reporting.
Like the emergency room visits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
ER visits for non-fatal self-injury shot up. And, tragically, the suicide rate for young teen girls, it increased 167% between 2010 and 2021.
Oof.
Yeah. That surge started right around 2012 as well. So that behavioral data strongly suggests the suffering is real. It's not just a reporting artifact.
Okay, so that establishes the crisis, the what and the when. But let's dig into the why. What made Gen Z so vulnerable before the phone even arrived?
So Haidt argues the groundwork was laid by losing the old-school play-based childhood. Kids need certain things to develop properly.
Like what?
Things like free play, crucial for learning competence, dealing with fear, and attunement learning social skills, self-regulation through actual face-to-face interaction.
And this ties into that concept of anti-fragility. Can you unpack that a bit? It seems really central.
Yeah, anti-fragility. It's a neat idea. So fragile things break under stress, right? Robust things resist stress. But anti-fragile things actually get stronger from stress, from disorder. He uses the metaphor of trees needing wind. The wind stresses the tree, but that stress makes it grow stronger. Stress would. Without the wind, it stays weak.
So protecting kids from all stress, all challenges.
Actually makes them more fragile in the long run. It prevents them from developing that resilience that stress would. You rob them of the chance to learn they can handle things.
And this relates to discover versus defend mode.
Right. Kids are naturally anti-fragile, wired for discover mode, exploring, taking small risks, learning. But overprotection, safetyism, it shifts them into a chronic defend mode, where the world feels threatening and they become anxious.
And we saw this playing out, the decline in free play.
Definitely. Unsupervised outdoor play, especially what he calls risky play, climbing trees,
Yeah.
figuring things out on their own, that stuff plummeted, starting way back in the 80s and then really accelerating in the 90s with rising parental fears.
His childhood was already becoming more constrained, more supervised, less challenging.
Exactly. The wind was dying down.
And then the smartphone arrives right during puberty, ages like 9 to 15, which is a critical development window.
The most critical, arguably. The brain's doing this massive rewiring. It's supposed to be fueled by real-world experiences, cultural learning, social challenges.
But those experiences were being blocked.
Yeah, blocked by two things. The overprotection, the safetyism holding them back in the real world, and then the phone pulling them into the virtual one. He calls them experience blockers.
So they missed out on those necessary rites of passage, the challenges needed to transition to adulthood.
Pretty much. The brain's ready for this big leap, but the inputs it needs, real social interaction, physical challenges, cultural apprenticeship, they're just not there. Or they're replaced by the screen.
Which leads us directly into the specific harms of this phone-based childhood. Chapter 5 lays out 4 big ones.
Yep, the 4 foundational harms. First up, social deprivation.
Less actual time with friends.
Way less. He cites data showing face-to-face time dropped massively between 2012 and 2019, from over 2 hours a day down to just over 1 hour.
Wow, nearly halved.
And it's not just quantity. Even when they're together, if there's a phone nearby, even face down on the table.
It reduces the quality of the interaction.
Yeah, studies show it makes the conversation less deep, less empathetic. Just its presence is distracting.
Okay, harm number 2.
Sleep deprivation. This one's huge. Kids started sleeping less, especially with phones in the bedroom.
And lack of sleep messes with everything.
Everything. More anxiety, more depression, but also more aggression, worse impulse control, the blue light, the constant alerts. It just wrecks sleep.
Third harm, attention fragmentation.
Ah, the notifications. You mentioned the number earlier.
Yeah.
Something crazy like 1 every few minutes.
I think the book says the average teen gets around 192 a day.
Yeah, something like that. 1 every 5 minutes or so when they're awake.
Yeah.
It basically trains your brain for distraction.
Makes it harder to focus, to think deeply.
Exactly. It undermines your executive functions. Planning, focusing, resisting impulses. You're constantly being pulled away.
And the 4th foundational harm, addiction.
Right. And this isn't accidental. These apps are designed to be addictive.
Using techniques from behavioral psychology.
Absolutely, like the variable ratio reinforcement schedule. That's the slot machine principle. You get rewarded unpredictably, so you keep pulling the lever, keep scrolling the feed.
Sean Parker from Facebook famously admitted they knew they were exploiting a vulnerability.
Yeah, he did. It's about hijacking dopamine pathways. Makes you want more and more, but it doesn't actually make you feel satisfied.
Okay, let's talk gender differences. The book argues girls were hit first and maybe harder. Why?
Well, girls' social lives often revolve more around close relationships, social comparison. Social media takes that tendency and just amplifies it massively.
The sociometer idea, like an internal gauge of where you stand socially.
Exactly. And when you're constantly seeing these curated, often fake, perfect images online, your sociometer just tanks. It fuels anxiety, perfectionism, body image issues.
Then it happens subconsciously, too, even seeing an image for a split second.
Research suggests yes. Even exposures too brief to consciously register can have a negative impact. Plus, there's social contagion.
Meaning mental health issues can spread through social networks?
Yeah, especially things like anxiety and depression. And we even saw those weird outbreaks of, like, Tourette's-like tics spreading via TikTok among teen girls. Sociogenic illness.
And then layer on top the higher rates of online harassment, sexualization.
Right. It pushes girls into that defend mode much more intensely online. The virtual space became quite hostile quite quickly for many girls.
What about boys? Their path was different.
Yeah, more diffuse, maybe. Haidt connects it to a longer trend of boys struggling academically and economically since, like, the 70s. School and the economy haven't favored them as much recently.
Fewer college degrees, jobs shifting away from traditional male roles.
Right. And so, as the real world felt less rewarding or more challenging, many boys retreated into the virtual world.
Where they could find substitutes, like gaming for competence, online forums for connection.
Exactly. Plausible simulations of success, connection, even sex, but with lower stakes, lower anxiety.
But the cost is huge. The opportunity cost.
Precisely. Time spent in the simulation is time not spent building real-world skills, real relationships, real competence. It leads to withdrawal, disengagement.
Like a hikikomori phenomenon in Japan, extreme social withdrawal.
Yeah, he suggests we're seeing echoes of that rising in the West.
Yeah.
The boy's checking out.
Beyond the specific harms, Haidt frames the overall loss in almost spiritual terms.
He does. He talks about homo duplex, the idea that humans exist on two levels. The everyday, self-focused level, the profane, and a higher level capable of self-transcendence, collective joy, the sacred.
And the phone-based life keeps us stuck in the profane.
That's the argument. It's all about the self, the immediate, the trivial. It actively blocks the experiences that lift us into the sacred things like shared rituals, being in sync with others physically.
Like dancing or singing together.
Yeah, we're just stillness, deep focus, experiencing awe in nature. The phone life, with its constant distraction and individualism, is kind of incompatible with those deeply human needs.
Which brings us to the solutions. If the problem is this big and structural, individual willpower isn't enough.
Right. He frames it as a classic collective action problem, a CAP. It's like, if only one parent takes away the phone, their kid suffers socially, it's too costly individually.
But if everyone does it together,
Then the trap breaks, the cost disappears. So the solutions have to be collective.
starting with government and tech companies, he proposes raising the age for social media and internet adulthood to 16.
Yeah, from the current 13. It's controversial, obviously. Enforcement is tricky.
How could that even work?
Well, the idea is platforms need to take responsibility, like bars checking IDs. He suggests maybe phone operating systems, Apple, Google could build in an age check feature that parents enable, making it easier for platforms to verify age without collecting more data themselves.
Interesting. Okay, what about schools?
Two big things. Go completely phone-free during the school day.
To bring back focus and face-to-face interaction.
Exactly. And second, become playful. More recess, more unstructured free play, especially for younger kids. Let that anti-fragility develop.
He also mentions the Let Grow project.
Yeah, that's a cool practical idea. It's like homework, but the assignment is go do something new on your own that you haven't done before.
Like walk to the store alone or ride your bike further than usual.
Right. Small step towards independence, building that competence and pushing back against safetyism builds the stress wood.
And for parents, especially for kids in that crucial 6 to 13 age range.
Maximize real-world experience. Encourage independence. Coordinate with other parents. Things like the wait until 8th pledge for smartphones help solve that collective action problem locally.
Set screen time limits.
Firm limits. He suggests maybe 2 hours max recreational screen time for 6 12-year-olds and absolutely get devices out of bedrooms at night.
And the big one, delay the smartphone itself until high school and social media until 16.
That's probably the hardest sell for many parents, but he argues it's the most impactful step to protect that crucial developmental period.
So boiling it down, the 4 big reforms are no smartphones before high school, no social media before 16, phone-free schools, and way more independence and free play.
That's the core package, yeah. It's about fundamentally changing the childhood environment back towards something more aligned with, well, human needs.
And the final message is really about overcoming inertia, right? This collected action problem.
Absolutely. We see the problem, but it's hard for individuals to act alone. He uses that analogy of the social psychology experiment.
The one with smoke filling the room.
Yeah. If nobody else reacts, individuals tend not to react either, even if they see the danger. We're kind of stuck in that paralysis now.
So the call to action is speak up and link up. Work together to change the norms, change the environment.
Exactly. We wouldn't accept toys coated in lead paint once we knew the danger. We need to apply that same standard of care to the digital environment we placed our kids in. It's not too late to redesign it.
A really powerful, if sobering, argument. Lots to think about there. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.